up everyone? I am Jamie with ThreeLittleGoats.com. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you've been around for a while, welcome back. Glad to see you as always. So today we are doing another DIY project to try to finish off decorating my office so I can finally do the final reveal. If you're new here, we moved to Arkansas to our forever farm. I needed a place to work, so we converted a shed into my office. I have a video on the build process. I'll link it up here as well as down below. And now we are in the process of making soap in it and decorating it at the same time because I am a multitasker, to tell you what. So we have actually decided that I'm going to do a kind of honeycomb, honeybee inspired office. I love the honeybees obviously, and I just love the look of like honeycomb, and it makes me happy. It's my office. I can do what I want. So last week I did some shelving that were hexagon shaped and they kind of look like honeycomb on the wall. And today we are going to do a fun wood burning project where we don't actually have to have any wood burning tools. Now I did use my Silhouette Cameo to cut out a stencil for this project. If you don't have a Silhouette Cameo or a Cricut, that is perfectly fine. You can buy templates, you can buy stencils, or if you have the art skills that I don't have, you can totally freehand your own design, which would be awesome. If you do that and you do this project, tag me on Instagram because I would love to see that. I love seeing people's art because I'm envious that I can't do it. So without further ado, we are going to initiate some voiceover mode and get started.
For this project, you're going to need a board of some sort. I'm just using some whiteboard that I had left over from my office build. You're also going to need a stencil of some sort. I used my Silhouette Cameo to cut this stencil out. I actually purchased it from the Silhouette store and then modified it, but you guys can use any design that you want. And then you're also going to need a heat gun and then one of these wood burning pins. I picked this up on Amazon. It was pretty cheap and I've used it on multiple projects already and I still have plenty of life left in it, but this pin is really neat. I'll link it down below, but it is a vital source for this project. The first thing I did was laid out my stencil. Since I did cut it in two separate cuts, I needed to figure out where exactly I wanted everything to fit. And then I'm just going to take some transfer tape and I'm going to use the transfer tape to take it off of the backing and put it onto the wood. Now the transfer tape that I used was probably a little bit too sticky, so try to use a transfer tape that doesn't have a whole lot of stick to it. This stuff was just a nightmare, but it was all I had on hand. Hopefully my new transfer tape coming in will be a little bit easier to work with. But I just worked section by section, just adding in the vinyl onto the board. Once I removed all of the transfer tape, I went through and I just made sure everything was stuck down really well because these pins do tend to bleed a little bit. So you just want to make sure everything is stuck down really well. And then it's just a matter of taking your pin and then coloring in all of the wood that is showing. Anywhere this pin goes is where the wood will burn. I also used a paper towel just to kind of dab at it. Don't swipe, just give it a little dab will do ya, just to make sure to limit any bleeding that could happen. I just let it sit for a few minutes just to make sure everything was nice and dry, and I wiped it down with the paper towel to make sure there was no beading of the ink on the vinyl that could transfer to the wood while I was removing the vinyl. And it was just a matter of painstakingly removing all of the vinyl. You do not want to put your heat gun on this while your vinyl is still on it because you run the risk of melting your vinyl to your board and having just a big hot mess. So be sure to remove all of your vinyl before you move on to the heat gun step. Now was time for the fun part, the heat gun. I left my heat gun on low and I kept it off of the board about 2 to 3 inches, and I just slowly swiped over the design with the heat gun. You don't want to hold it in place for too long because you can burn the wood where you don't want it to be burned. And I found that you can go back, and the more times you go over it, the darker and darker it gets. After I was happy with the darkness of the grain, I went ahead and gave it a quick coat of polyacrylic, and it was ready to be displayed in my office. I absolutely love how this turned out.
So that is what I've got for you guys today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. It really helps. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. What are you waiting for? We put out new videos every single week, sometimes twice a week if I'm feeling spunky. I have started making soap videos again, so be sure to check those out as well. And as always, there'll be a bunch of information in the description box if you want to check that out. If you have questions, leave it in the comments below. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!